decided to move on from that. Saw there was an opening in the market. I saw that loads of people who may well be watching this now are doing it badly. There's a lot of kind of smoke and mirrors, and we kind of decided to, well, I kind of decided big-headedly that I was going to do it better and bigger, and so far it's proved to be, a good move.
Okay, cool. So just because we sort of network with normal businesses, not marketing businesses, not tech businesses, so let's just do a quick demystification.
Sure.
SEO is
search engine optimization.
What does that really mean you're going to do?
Yeah, search engine optimization basically means when someone looks for something on Google, we're going to make sure that you're at the top of all the results that come up.
Okay. And that's a classic phrase you hear, I'll make you the top of Google.
Yeah.
What's it? I've seen some interesting points of view on that.
Yeah.
What's really going to happen for a client? You're going to make a stream of nonsense words that you can claim to the client, well, put it on top of Google.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting point, Lewis. There's two things there. First one is, what words are you going to put as the top for? Because I could take you one keyword. Right. The other confusing thing is that when we talk about keywords, a keyword can actually be one word, like insurance, or a keyword can also be low-cost car insurance. Because we're all geeks, we just make it confusing. So that's the first thing. So I could say to you, for the cheapest dog insurance in the world as your keyword, I'll go at the top. And I can do that probably with my super cool guys in the office in about half an hour, maybe a bit longer. But you'd say, yeah, that's great. The problem is there's only one person in the world searching for it, and that's probably my mum, to explain what I do for a living. So what we're not going to do is use nonsense words. I mean, what Google have been saying for a long time, and kind of what we believe, is that it's all mainly about context. So what Google's saying is, look, if someone's looking at your site from doing a search on a keyword, low-cost holidays, is your site in context with that search? So A, does it mention low-cost holidays somewhere? Does it mention it a few times? Not only does it mention low-cost holidays, but Google kind of knows if you're talking about holidays, you might also be in the same realm as words like vacation or trip. So does it kind of mention those periphery words as well? And if it does that, it then says, well, how good are you? And the only way it can know how good you are is if lots of other sites on the web link into you. And believe it or not, they can also say, and of those sites that link into you, are they good or are they bad? So it's all basically just about building a nice site that's in context what people are looking for. If you start repeating words over and over and over again, they know that. I think, if your 6-year-old child can read a website and understand what it's about, you've probably got it nailed.
Okay, I like that tip. If you're looking at your website, can your 6-year-old read it? That's a great little tip. Thank you. Now, how much we're talking about Google, and there are obviously other search engines.
No, there aren't really.
Okay, fair enough. It's true. I can't.
Was it Ping or something?
Yeah.
No, Bing,
okay.
Obviously.
How has Google Instant impacted you? That's the latest sort of breaking thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Basically what Google decided to do was that when you kind of do your search, it's going to update all the results for you as you're typing. Now, obviously, as someone who's interested in getting people's sites to the top, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And, the industry, no one really knows. One of the interesting things that's happened with search engine optimization and digital marketing is in the beginning, it was like the wild, wild west. There were loads of cowboys out there, not doing bad things, but simply because no one ever knew. And the word that we've had to learn to use in our office is statistically significant.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's no good saying in one vertical like pet care or insurance, this makes all the difference and that's right. Because we all know they're viewed a little bit separately. And also in really competitive searches and areas, it's a different set of rules. So at the moment, there's no one that's really done some good research that said across the board, this is kind of what happens. But as all we do know is, when we talk about keywords in the old sense, we were looking at how many people were searching for those words. What we're also looking now is kind of the semantic structure, so where the words appear. Because if you're typing into Google, it's using the most popular word followed by the next most popular word followed by the next most popular word according to all the people that search it. So when you're picking your keywords, you kind of want to have a go at preserving that order as well.
Wow, that's a lot of things to take into consideration, and that's probably why you guys.
That's why, yeah, if you're in like a really small niche, and you've got someone who's a little bit techie, you know, you can do a lot of SEO yourself. If you can write really good, interesting content, you can do SEO yourself. The problem is when you're going up against companies that have a department. You know, some of our clients that we help advise might have 70 of their own team working on SEO all day long. So if you come along as Mr. Joe Blogs and think, I'm going to take them on, it's just you can't.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes you can do it yourself, and sometimes you need to come to people that have got a bit of experience.
Absolutely. So that's search engine. Social media marketing seems to be a new buzz sort of phrase.
Yeah.
What's it really achieving? What's it doing?
Yeah, I mean, we get spam calls from other people trying to sell us search engine optimization. It's brilliant. And social media is like the latest fad. And basically, people can mean different things when they say social media. One bit can be, we'll make your Facebook page look pretty. So yeah, cool, maybe charge you a couple £100, but not really great. Others can set you up a Twitter channel or this vouchers, all that kind of thing. But this morning, sitting in the maternity department was like a really good indication for me of the difference between search and social and how important it is to get it right. So we have two kind of things that happen in our house. The first one is the search, and that is, I want the Avanti sterilizer. I don't want the button. It's a search, and it's £35 on eBay store and £45 on Boots, and I just want to buy it. That's dead easy to do. So social, we're in this maternity department, and there's like, I don't know, 6 women that are all pregnant, and 6 husbands that are all, or partners
terrified.
that are all terrified, correct. And within that room, there's conversations going on. Some, unfortunately, might have problems. Some, this might be kid number 5. Some, this might be kid number 1. Some know whether it's a boy or a girl. Some don't. Now, if I was to stand in the middle of that room and say, listen, everybody, I've got a special offer on the best car seat in the world. Come and buy it now. I'd have like 6 hormonal women chase me out of the room. And that's where people get social so wrong.
Right,
There's people having discreet conversations about things they're passionate in, either because they love it or because it's happening in their life. It's community. It's really then more about adding value, joining in the conversation. And when you've earned the trust of the room or the niche, that's when you can kind of start to market to it as well. So yes, you can do advertising on Facebook, but you can't just advertise, buy this now, it's on special offer. It doesn't work. It has to have a more social feel to it.
Okay. I was at a Facebook presentation by Yale, in fact, and the guys were saying how it's the local aspect that they were trying to push through Facebook, and how there's a pizza chain franchisee who uses this Facebook in the local area in Warrington, to use that as a way of promoting offers. He's now added Foursquare to that, so if you're the most regular, you can get a free pizza. I think that sort of works well for that sort of small fun. He's being quirky with it. He's not trying to go buy me or else. He's trying to have a sort of fun, light-hearted, engaging conversation, while obviously saying, yes, I am selling pizza.
Yeah.
And but he's not going into someone else's conversation and trying to pull them out of that conversation and get them to buy pizzas. I think that distinction was very interesting at the Facebook.
Yeah, you know, we're working with, we're looking into it with a company at the moment. They sell baby products. You know, one version is buy this product. The other version is, if you've bought this product second hand, how to clean it to make it as good as new and safe for your next baby. Yeah. And that's the kind of the distinction.
Okay. Before we came on, you were talking about Google updates.
Yeah.
Now, Google updates are when they change how they look through through your code and through your words. Is that right?
Google basically runs from a set of instructions,
Okay.
and maybe once a quarter, maybe once a day, they're very tight-lipped about it. They change those codes, and they only do it to give people like me a hard time. But yeah, they change them, and I think, obviously Google's major business is search, and if you went onto Google and typed in Volkswagen Polo, and an advert came up for, the latest something or other that wasn't connected, no one's going to use Google, no one used Google, they cancel advertising space. So ultimately these updates are about putting the best stuff at the top. There's going to be people who are laughing because we know they do one of these updates and for the next month, as all you see is American companies coming up in the UK.
Yes.
But ultimately it's about getting the best stuff up at the top.
Okay.
And Facebook and Twitter came along and Google's whole landscape changed, because what used to happen is a page goes up, Google goes and indexes it, adds it to its list, then it sees how many people have linked to it, and then it decides who goes to the top. What happens when 3,000 people tweet in 3 minutes when a plane goes into the Hudson River? They've got, their world has changed, and they've got to kind of find things about saying, well, how can we make our technology quicker? So sometimes there's really valid points like that change things.
Okay. So how can digital change the way a small business works?
I think now digital is the major enabler of small business to play bigger and attract more. Because if you think, there's much less of a barrier to entry. You've got those 10 results on the search page. John Lewis can be number 1, you can be number 2, especially if you go tighter into your niches. So you can get visible quicker. If you've got good messages, they can be passed virally. I think for small business, it's even more important than businesses, because the small business tends to need to be found for what they do, not just their brand name.
Yes.
Because if people were coming for their brand name, they wouldn't have a problem. Obviously, it costs a fortune to establish a brand. So yeah, I think...
Okay. That's quite interesting. When I'm out talking to clients, especially smaller business clients, you find that they want to be saying everything about their business, and actually, I want to get back to the classics, which you're getting back down to one really good thing to say about your company, getting back down to the niche, really.
Yeah.
And in the same way that what you're saying there is that niche is important for a small business to focus on, to get in the same pages as maybe a John Lewis or a big brand name where they can be chosen like for like.
Yeah, and start small and work big. If you were coming to us as a client, I'd much rather get you to a good position on one of your smaller terms, and then you start making income or generating leads, and then we look at another small term, and then look at another small term. So over the space of a year, you might rank for 300 terms, all generating you a little bit of cash. The other thing that happens then is when Google does an update, let's say it wipes out 20%, yeah, okay, so you lose a bit of revenue, but it's not the end of the world. If you're competing on, there's a lot going on. The whole car insurance keyword has changed the people that were at the top or at the bottom, and it's all gone mental. But if you imagine on a search term like that could be generating company millions of pounds, if they go from position 1 to position 7, that's there's some FD somewhere that's screaming and shouting and banging on the table.
Okay. Now we obviously, we do video. This is what we do. We do web ads and viral things. We do FAQs, and we do the whole range of different things. In fact, you'll probably see that stuff in our background. How does video sit with SEO for you guys?
Oh, you want me to help you plug yourself?
Help me out. I say this a lot, but I want someone else to say it for me.
Okay. Video works, not being paid to say this, video works in several ways. Way number 1 is that if you've done a search recently, within the past 6 months, a year, you'll see that little videos appear in the search results. Now, if you're doing a how-to search, how to do an Excel spreadsheet, how to do this, how to do that, and you've got a choice of an article or a video, you'll watch video. It's also, even though there's only 2 results of videos as opposed to 10 text results, it's much less competitive to get up there. I mean, YouTube banned around figures like it's, I don't know, like 25 times less competitive to get into a video as it is to get up on the ranking. So that's number one. You can occupy more space. Reason number 2, and we got loads of case studies on this, in fact. If you put a video on the front page of your website that says, this is us, this is what we do, this is what our clients say about us, and this is the fact that we're all really nice, honestly, conversion rates increase. Especially in businesses where it's, you know, like people orientated.
Service business.
It's just the truth, you know, because it's very hard to fake it. Sometimes a little bit Blair Witch, a little bit shaky, not too much makeup works even better because they look more truthful.
Yeah.
And you know, if you think about it yourself, you know, you go to a site, you can watch a video of the founder or key messages, works well. The only thing you have to watch is if you go in corporates for web video, no speakers, and potentially, you know, dodgy IT managers that block all firewalls and things like that. So, but you know, definitely service or business to consumer works really, really well.
Cool. Now, do you have any public sector clients? Have you been affected by any of this sort of cutbacks in the public sector?
No. No, it's not affected us at all.
Okay. Now, the other part of you is the serial successful entrepreneur. I'm making that distinction, by the way. I know I've met quite a few people who are serial entrepreneurs, which normally means they're serial unsuccessful entrepreneurs, but you're a serial successful entrepreneur. Take us through some of the other businesses you've set up and run.
I was involved in a nice little .com when I was, I think, 17, and exited out of that when I was 18, which was quite a cool ride. Nice little niche publishing business that did really well online. I think if you Google me, it tells the stories on there. And the web development business, and then obviously this digital marketing business. I think that kind of background has been key to the success of our business, because where my first view of the whole SEO business is, there's lots of technicians doing it, which are at one end of the market. At the other end of the market, you've got the big players that understand media planning and buying. But there isn't, on the smaller end of the scale, people that are looking at it commercially. You know, it's all very well getting and choosing keywords and knowing what codes to do, but clients employ us to make them more money by generating more leads or getting them more visibility. And if you don't have a commercially savvy brain, whether it because you've had failures or successes, or like all of us, a mixture of both, you know, you can't just walk in nowadays in this climate and say, you're at number 1 for so-and-so. People want to know, well, yeah, that's cool, but how much traffic, how many leads, how much money?
Yeah.
And that's obviously with a company name like Return on Digital. You know, everyone's just return on investment driven. That's kind of a whole philosophy. And on our whiteboard, it says we work with companies that mean business. We're not interested in companies that this isn't important for. You know, we want to work with companies where it makes a difference.
Okay.
So that's kind of what made me do it.
And so you speak at events now?
Yeah.
How did you get into doing that? Bad luck?
No. I had like a business coachy, mentory person, a guy called Chris Barrow, who, you know, met in his office, and he helped dentists basically earn more, work less. And he said, I've got this thing going on in London. He said, come along, give them 20 minutes on how to have a good website. And there was like 400 people in the audience, first time ever. And I don't know, maybe it was just only child syndrome, but being in front of all those people really suited me. And it kind of progressed from there. And now, you know, get the opportunity, spread the message, and to, you know, speak and share a stage with some really cool people. But it's just more about, I'm really passionate about what I do, and it's more about sharing the message than
promoting you, the face.
Yeah, I think if I can leave a legacy that says, I mean, we got one client that basically, it was like one of those really, the pitch went really well, but it was really scary because at the end of it he said, I love you, I trust you, but this has got to work, otherwise I've got to like go bust.
Okay.
And it's like, do I really want that? But when you start getting emails saying, you know, 7 sales this week, this, and it's improving, I think that's quite a privileged position to be in. And that's the legacy that I want to leave.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So is that the sort of thing that makes you guys different? You care more about the conversion to sales than, say, just someone who's trying to find a clever word for SEO?
Yeah, I mean, you know, meeting with a managing director, financial director, what position are you? We're position 7. Well, we've got budget cuts to make. Or the meeting that says, you pay us £1,000 a month and we bring you £43,000 a month back. Okay, well, we'll keep that going. You know, so that's how we like to work. And, you know, we're really open with our clients and we say, we need to know your financial results of what you're producing out of it so that we can optimize for return on investment. And we've had conversations with clients that have said, to optimize your return, you need to decrease the spend that you're making. Being number 1 on paid search isn't profitable. Being number 3 is. We're paid on percentage of ad spend, so our percentage goes down, but you get one person telling 50 people that they've got a campaign that's, you know, has a good ROI as opposed to just having an agency that burns money.
And what sort of results can be achieved through SEO and social media marketing?
You know, work with a service, a healthcare-based business at the moment. They're putting £2,000 a month in and generating between £20,000 and £30,000 a month of return back.
Wow.
We're working with e-commerce companies that are putting in £500 to £1,000 a month, and they're being able to generate bottom line of £5,000, £6,000 a month. So, I mean, it's there for the taking, but, you know, getting the traffic's one thing. You know, we changed someone's buy button from orange to green, and they got like 4% more sales a month.
Okay, that's quite a significant upswing.
It's significant, it's something ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you think, so if you're paying for someone to get you to the top of the search engines, but they're not doing stuff like that, then, you know, you're wasting your money.
And also, you know, if you're paying a designer to make choices about your brand set, and those choices are damaging your sales, that's a scary place to be in, surely. You know, as an owner.
Yeah, it is. And
that's quite scary.
You know, you get someone come in with their pen and pencils and pretty MacBook Pros and say, have it look like this. And Google now gives free tools, website optimizer, where you can actually say, I tell you what, I'm going to give you pretty design page here, and I'm going to give you optimized page here, and I'm going to flip-flop it and count which one gets either people looking the longest or the more sales, and give you proof. And, you know, that's really the best way to do it. And then you can either say, well, the designer was right, obviously, all your customers are freaks, or, no, actually, the well-thought-out conversion page. You know, you put a contact form on the front page of a site, more people contact you.
Yeah. I remember talking to another web guy, and he was saying there's the marketing speak used to be there's 7 points of contact before purchase. In the digital world, it's a minimum of 27 points of contact. And if you on your website haven't asked in different ways consistently across your entire website for those 27, call me, touch me, interact with me, you're not going to get it. Yeah.
You've got to tell people what to do. Again, it's like this 6-year-old rule. And I think it's just time pressure and the fact of you're asking someone to interact with like a screen this big. It's got to be simpler and more, not flamboyant, but more in your face than it would when you can touch someone on the shoulder or smile or do things like that.
Okay. So. And are there any particular sectors that you prefer working with that you find are more conducive to the sort of stuff that you like doing?
I mean, we work professional services, insurance, e-commerce, healthcare. I think, no, any sector it can work for. It's just, you know, if you're selling £1 million machines, you've got to know that you might get one sale in the year, and it's not about someone typing in, I want to buy a machine about that. It might be making sure that when someone types in a technical fault that they're experiencing, that your how-to guide appears with information of how to fix it, with your telephone number at the bottom of that how-to guide. So yeah, we've got a toolkit of getting things visible, but you still have to think about what you want visible.
Okay. Now, I'm just getting my signals to start wrapping this up. So just to go back over some ground for those people who haven't already had a chance to sort of get involved, what would your top 3 tips for SEO for a sort of small, medium business be?
Okay, first tip, it comes back down to these keywords. So what would people type in to find you? That's got to be the first place that you're going to start. Best way to do it, have a look through, see if you've got any competitors there. If you haven't got competitors there, it means they've been there, they've tried it, and they've lost money and ran. So seeing that there's competition there is good. The second thing I'd do is make sure that your site actually mentions the words that you're going for, and that it also has calls to action on it. And the third thing I'd say is just produce great content. You know, if someone can come to your site, let's say it's not, you know, some of the most popular selling books now are the ones that were written in the 1920s, maybe not in like the fiction but non-fiction, the ones that are written in the 1920s, printed on really bad press, but the content's great. And it's the same with sites. If you can't afford to go to one of these fancy swanky designers, but you've got really good information on there, really nicely laid out, people will refer you and link to you because of the information that you're sharing.
Okay.
So yeah, they're the 3. Good information, a site that's in context and got calls to action, and also that you're marketing to keywords where there's people looking and have actually got visitors.
Cool. Now, what about people... Now, I'm not going to ask about getting into digital because you're not actually a digital person per se, but it's looking at starting their own business in something that they can see an opportunity in. Do you have any advice in that sort of sector?
Do you mean like what, starting their own digital business?
Starting their own business, as a serial entrepreneur, what sort of tips would you have as a serial entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur...
Sorry, let me correct myself. Successful.
I made the tea yesterday and work. That's how successful I am. First one, you got to spot an opportunity where there's money. You know, money does good things. It pays tax bills that allow old ladies to get hip replacement. So never be shy of making money, because trust me, the government will take enough of it off you to equalise where you're coming from. And I think have the vision. I mean, we had a really lucrative opportunity that came up that would have taken us completely off our plan. And we turned it down, and actually it was the best thing that we ever did, because I've got in my mind's eye the vision of what I want to create. Might be right, might be wrong, it is constantly changing, but it's my vision and where you think you should be heading, and it's really important to stick to that. And then I think the final thing is business plans. We've got fantastic business plans, 1 page, and all our staff have a business plan. It's 1 page that's all broken down off the 1 page for the whole company.
Okay.
So when we go through our reviews every month, everyone's being not tested, not targeted, but guided along things that actually come from our core vision. So anytime anyone can look at our business plan and know month by month whether we're on it, whether we're off it, and they can know what little piece they're doing, how that affects the big plan. And it's just been a really cool way to make sure that everyone's on the same sheet and that we're always moving forward. It might be diagonally and to the left, but that we're definitely moving forward. I think as an entrepreneur, that's where I'm at.
Cool, thank you. Guy Levine, thank you very much for your time. Luckily, we didn't have a phone call in the middle of that. Hope she comes soon. I know it's a bit late. So just to go through some dates for your diary, we have Les Selby, who's coming in. He's the founder of Wire City. He'll be talking about how to make professional networks work stronger, better, smarter, to build up personal contacts that may help you start your business, grow your business, that sort of thing. And that's on 19th of October. Then we've finally been able to confirm that McCann Erickson is going to be coming in and talking with us, but we've still got to get the sign-off of which topic we're going to talk about. So there's one of 2 topics we're going to talk about. Both are quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. We then have Dave Adams from the Savvy Partnership. Will be here with his partner Helen. They are marketeers in the development plan process. They help strategize the plans that are then rolled out. They'll be here on the 30th of November. And then we have Rob Brown, who'll be doing the last in conversation with before Christmas and before we take our break, and that's on the 14th of December. So we hope we can tune in for that. Thank you very much for spending some time with us, and we hope that you'll come back and be in conversation with us again. Take care.